everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to Bitch Sesh. It's Danielle Schneider.
And I'm so sorry, guys, but it's April Mouton.
It's April! April's guesting because, guys, or helping me co-host tonight because guess what? Casey is out this evening. She's working, last minute work assignment.
What a busy bee.
But I'm really excited because we have special guests and we have a great lineup tonight. And we have so much to talk about. Mm-hmm. And we have April Mouton, not just her laughter, but the real lady here helping me.
I feel wild.
How do you feel?
I'm energized.
Are you?
I had a shot of tequila and espresso.
What?
Those are contradicting, right?
This was not told to me.
No, well, it was before you arrived.
Oh, no, April.
No, it's going to be fine.
Okay. All right. We'll see if I have to shut your mic off.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Guys, Casey, before she left for work, she did leave one thought that she just wanted to leave everybody with, and she won't elaborate on it, but basically said she has one important message for everyone that she has to relay, and that is Jim Edmonds is such an asshole.
Great.
So, we'll talk more about that. Before we get into everything, so much Housewives news this week. And then there was the eclipse.
Oh, wow.
Did you watch it?
Did you look into the sun?
Honestly, it pissed me off. And here's why. That I love things when everybody comes together as one.
You love a bandwagon.
I love when people sing at the same time.
Oh my God.
I love when they march like a parade.
Yes.
Watching people just sing God Bless America together will bring me to tears. I like when a group of people get together and do the same thing at the same time.
I like when people jump on like a fan train and are like, I'm a fan of that baseball team because they're doing well. I'm fine with that.
But for some reason, this eclipse rubbed me the wrong way. I saw people looking up at the sky and I resented them. I did. I felt so much anger towards them. And
what is that about?
I think because I felt the pressure to be a part of something that I didn't want to be a part of. And even my husband, I got home, I dropped my daughter off and she had the glasses. I dropped my daughter off at camp and she was outside and they're like, give her the glasses and look through it. And then, do you want to look through the glasses? And I was like, sure. I just did not want to. I don't know if I'm scared of it or think it's going to burn my eyes. But I resented it, so I looked at it and then had to sort of fake an orgasm over
oh my God. You're like, ooh,
nature.
The sun.
And again, nature is beautiful and nothing against nature. Let's preserve it.
Like you feel the quite opposite. Almost like Casey likes animals.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel.
You seem to really like nature.
It's really like how Casey feels about dogs and that. I want it gone. Don't want this nature. And so then I went home and my husband let's go outside and watch the eclipse. And then I felt this pressure. I just wanted to go downstairs and watch TV.
That's fine.
The fact that I was drawn out into the open and made to look outside, and it looked like there was just a dusky day or a rainstorm was going to happen. So I don't know. It's not my cup of tea. Can you say that about an eclipse?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I didn't look at it through any thing. I saw a shadow on the ground and I was like, oh, it's moon shaped. And then I went inside.
I didn't even notice that part. Good to know.
I felt it was more of an internal energy. It was an internal eclipse. Was a thing that the earth and the sun and moon wanted to do. I didn't have to be involved.
Okay.
It wasn't about us. Okay.
I felt like it was. I felt
people
like it was,
made it about them, and it wasn't.
They did, and I felt like it was about me, and that it was mocking me. I the fact that I kept being roped into having to care about it, and people wanted a reaction from me that I wasn't prepared to give.
Look, I think you're wise beyond your years, and I think that you're right. It wasn't about you, and you were in the right.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. April, it's so great having you here. How do you feel being on this side of the nook?
It's very cozy over here. Usually I'm in this cold abyss, which Lyra over here is now doing. But
and we leave you there.
Yeah, I'm cozy now. I feel warm. I feel like I want to take off my jacket.
How will it feel to go back?
Oh, I'm gonna
to the other side.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be like going into coach.
Because someone once said to me, wouldn't you rather have not had a great job and then lose the great job, or have a ton of money and then lose the money? It's better to not know.
Right.
Yes. How does that? Well, I guess we'll see next week.
Yes. Because one time I'll say I flew with Casey to New York, and she was flying first class, of course.
I've been there and been on the other side of that when I'm back in the steerage. Yes.
Yes. And somehow I don't know how this happened, but I also got to ride first class, and I
have not gotten to.
I don't. Yeah. Sorry, Danielle.
Wow.
Put in more time. And I will say I was thriving in that environment. I was like, oh, I understand why this is a thing and why people love it and why they post photos about it. This is
first class?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was, because it was like JetBlue, like your own thing.
Still feel like I'm in coach. Not your fault. Just that's how I live my life. So
how are you doing?
I'm good. Besides the eclipse, we've had some exciting Housewives news this week.
Yes.
For me, the biggest deal. And I am so proud of her. And I'm happy I lived to see this day, that my eyes didn't get burned by the eclipse, because Sheree, She by Sheree, guys, She by Sheree has taken her brand and it is now in Nordstrom's.
What?
Did you know this?
I didn't know.
Nordstrom, the place that won't even take Ivanka Trump anymore.
Bye.
She by Sheree. You can go there, hear a lovely piano player, and shop for some makeup and concealer, and of course their wonderful shoe department, and get a She by Sheree shirt. I don't know. What's unclear to me is if it's like the collection, because I don't again know that there ever was a collection.
Right.
But there is a shirt.
What's the look? What is the shirt?
It's
One
a shirt. One shirt.
One person is going to get this shirt.
Believe me, I will be first in line. That just says, with her in it, who gonna check me, boo?
So it's her own branding. Okay.
I'm so proud of her, because that's a big deal. Nordstrom
That's huge.
Is a place that one dreams of getting into. You know, you're not going to find, Ramona's true nature jewelry, true faith jewelry there. You're not going to find Sonia's toaster there.
No.
You're not going to find...
We don't know where any of those are.
Lisa Rinna's cheap dusters there. You're not going to find... you're not going to find Luann's $20 collection that with the long crotch there. Like, that's not what you're going to find.
No.
You're going to find those on a personal website. What you are going to find is She by Sheree. And I'm very proud of her.
That's big.
So that's exciting for me.
That's Kardashian style.
Right?
Dang.
Guys,
yeah, girl.
This is a big day. I feel like we did this together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we built her up.
Well, yeah, she didn't know to make that shirt, I don't think.
No.
I think we all did that.
I'm proud of us.
We should get a cut.
Yeah. And then another piece of Housewives news is that Tom and Missy, Tom D'Agostino, Tom Gristides, and Missy, the girl that he was dating before Lou,
at those parties and being all,
a picture was posted of them. I got it from a listener, and I think it was originally posted by very funny comedian Michelle Collins, that there is footage of them having like a lovely brunch, I want to say on the Upper East Side together, and they seem to be talking. And this is literally like 2 weeks after they have Lou and Tom have dissolved their marriage. Like, what the fuck happened?
That had to have been just a thing happening this whole time.
And I know they can say that they're friends or whatever the case may be, but it feels wrong to me. And again, maybe this whole relationship was bullshit, but that just felt like a kick in the groin. That felt wrong. Like, pay Luann some respect.
Seriously.
Like, she didn't get the bridal suite. Give her this, Tom. Give Luann some respect.
Give that sweet nurse.
Yes, that Connecticut nurse.
Give her some fucking
respect. And fine, go have dinner with Missy in your apartment. Go to go.
Especially if he's not all flaunting on TV. If that's like his problem, then like don't do the obvious choice right away.
And they ate outside, like eat inside.
Right.
But in sort of a bistro. It was a bistro setting outside. It was.
Get Postmates and stay home.
Right? Be in your car. Fuck in your car. I don't care. Do you know how many guys I fucked in my car that did not want
I don't
to?
know, but I assume a lot.
Can I say, there are many guys that did not want to be seen with me. Danielle. And look, it happens. But I respect that.
I eat a lot in my car.
Keep it close to you. There are ways to not be seen with a woman.
No.
I have been on the receiving end of that.
I refuse to take this in.
So it's okay. Like just rent a Toyota Tercel and just
get in the back seat.
Get in the back seat and eat a salad or whatever you got to do. But
ask Dorinda for the Berkshire house and just pop up there.
Yeah, just respect must be paid. And I think that's all. And then Luann left a little Luann's going to have an interview with Andy, which I'm interested to see, a sit down. Yeah, I don't know that we'll ever get the truth from her. I still feel for her, even though the relationship feels like it was.
I mean, you have to feel like a big old dum-dum wearing your wedding dress to this reunion. And then
I have been corrected
to
by
now
our
be where you are.
I have been corrected by our listeners that it was her rehearsal dinner dress or something like that.
Same dang difference.
I know, but I just don't want to hear it again.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And so she's going to be sitting down with Andy, so I'm very excited about that. And so before we introduce our guest, let's take a little break.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back with this person. Guys, we have a really cool guest. I'm very excited about this person. She is a journalist, okay? We're not fucking around. No,
we got a Carol amongst us.
Jag-offs here. Yeah. And not that the rest of our guests have been jag-offs, lovely people, but she's truly not a jag-off. She's a journalist. She's British, and you guys know I love a Brit. They're so much smarter and cooler than us.
Prepare for that accent to get inside your ears and give them a little kiss.
And I have heard her, the dulcet tones. I'm seduced. But she's a journalist for The Guardian. And not only The Guardian, but guys, she has written for the paper of note. The one and only Daily Mail. It's very exciting. She's also the author of a really great, funny, interesting, I would call it a literary thriller called The Party. And please welcome to the Nook, Miss Elizabeth Day.
Guys, hello. I am so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you.
I feel I have prepared unwittingly all my life for this moment. I cannot tell you how much I love the podcast, how much I love the show, how much I love that you love British accents.
I do.
Oh my God. I'm like weeping inside from this voice.
You give us some class and we appreciate that.
I feel like I'm inside one of the best movies ever.
I feel like that when I listen to you two, so this is just
I feel like we're in like Four Weddings and a Funeral where I could be Annie McDowell being like, is it raining? I didn't notice. And that's as
that
good
means
as
I'm Hugh Grant.
Of course.
I'm very manly. What you can't see is that I'm incredibly masculine
looking.
She's
a handsome woman.
Striking. Big boned. One might say Luannish.
Foppish.
Please. She's in a gorgeous dress, by the way, looking effortlessly
Who is this
chic.
dress by? Can you tell us?
This dress is by Urban Outfitters.
Wow.
Yes.
Good.
The reason I bought it is because it has pockets in it, and I'm just a sucker for any item of clothing that has capacious pockets.
Can I say that I used to shop at Urban Outfitters constantly, and the last year or two that I've walked in, they don't want me there, and they've made it clear. Just because I'm too old, I just feel like they're not catering to me. Like nobody, when I'm like, "Excuse me, can I see this pair of shoes?" Like they're like, "No, you can't. You're too old." Like it's just, I'm not welcome there anymore.
I'm sure I get that too, and I just ignore it. There's always a salesperson there dressed in like fluffy mules and kind of deconstructed Ray-Bans.
Very crotch forward.
Very crotch forward. And like weird lacy bits on the side of their ripped jeans, and I just don't understand them and they don't understand me. But
this is looking terrific.
Thank you.
Fresh
Thank you.
as a daisy. Now, you are a journalist for the Daily Mail. Can you tell us some of the hot topics that you have written on?
Well, for the Daily Mail, I've only written a couple of pieces for them, full disclosure, I'm sorry. But one of the pieces
we'll still accept it.
One of the pieces I wrote was how annoying I find, I mean, it's really important stuff, guys, how annoying I find it when waiters don't write down your order.
Oh, yes.
Because I don't understand why they're doing that. They are a waiter. I don't judge them for having to write stuff down. They always forget the tap water. And that was one of the things that I found really annoying.
A real think piece.
Exactly. But probably more relevant for our purposes this evening is for The Guardian, I wrote a piece about the Real Housewives.
Okay.
And I got to interview the Darth Vader of the entire franchise, Scott Dunlop.
Wow.
Yes.
What? Casey is going to be so mad. Casey, I honestly think Casey is masturbated to Scott Dunlop. She talks about him in a way that I've never heard her worship anyone, like family members, her husband, like big producers. Like she's worked with David Fincher, and like she has not talked about them the way that she talks about Scott Dunlop. Tell us any bits of wisdom.
Well, so I only did it over the phone, but he was incredibly charming. I feel Casey is totally right to be obsessed with him. He was really charming. He has this like honey voice that you could listen to for hours. And he was just telling me that OC started out excuse me, OC started out as like a bona fide fly on the wall documentary. Like it was a serious documentary, and he started doing it because he was living in OC in this gated community, and Vicki Gunvalson was a neighbor of his. and
Vicki happened to him. Like Vicki happens to you. I believe that.
Absolutely. She's like the eclipse.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly.
You don't want to be a part of it, and you have to be.
Exactly. People want you to look at it, and then you find yourself looking, and you're like, yeah, it's kind of amazing.
But it's kind of hard to look away.
Yeah. And it
burns your eyes.
Yeah, you look at it, it burns your eyes.
Yeah,
it is
trying to figure out all the parts.
And it casts a weird shaped shadow just over our entire existence.
And it's never quite settled. But yeah, so, and did he give you any tips? Like, did he tell you any inside scoop?
He basically, because I was obsessed with Vicki. I tried to get an interview with Vicki as well, but she turned me down because I wouldn't plug her new vodka line.
Vicki's vodka?
Vicki's vodka, I know. So he actually really liked Vicki to start with. He said that she was, because I think if you go back to the very first series of the OC, she is actually like a working woman trying to keep everything together, trying to run her family, trying to run her business. And he was actually quite complimentary about her, but then said, I know, but then the program became something that he hadn't intended it to become. So it was picked up by Bravo, by the genius that is Andy Cohen, who discovered some kind of rough footage and spliced it together in a way that makes it the show we all know and love now. And I think Scott's perception of that was that Vicki had been changed through the show. So she was living her life, and then this show came along that showed her living her life, and then by being on the show, she changed the way she lived her life, which is just, I mean, it's at the root of all philosophies, really. Like, do we act differently when people are watching us?
Yeah, when a tree falls in a forest.
Yes.
And wow. That's
but
deep.
I did speak to Heather Dubrow and to Lisa Vanderpump for that piece, and creepy Simon Van Kempen.
Was he just as disgusting and slimy as he seems?
I mean, a little bit, yeah. He was. The one thing about him is that he had like good insights into the whole thing. Like, he saw it for what it was. He was like, we did it for the money. But then after I spoke to him, he started following me on Twitter. And then for several kind of weeks and months after that, he would get in touch at random points in a way that showed he'd read something that I'd written, or it was like slightly unconnected, and it was a bit weird. Weird.
Somebody has a boyfriend. Congratulations.
Right? Stalking
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. So you're really like now, did you hear any comments from the Housewives after you wrote that article? And what was the article title, so our listeners can read it?
What is it called? It was a few years ago. If you Google my name, Elizabeth Day, and The Real Housewives, it comes up.
Okay.
I basically begged to be able to write it because I was like, this TV program is redefining the way we live our lives.
It is.
And because in Britain, it comes out on a TV channel called ITVB, which is like in the realms of the digital forest that no one ever ventures into. But I had just become obsessed with it.
So how do people find it? Because it does seem to be quite popular over there. So people just wanted it that bad that they sort of like started watching it digitally.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
And then they buy they get all the programs and then they show them, but it's much, much later than you get them in the States. So whenever I have a work trip to the States, I binge on the current series of every single franchise.
So you're just like knee deep, balls deep in like Jax and Stassi right now. Like you're just...
Yeah, Jax and Stassi is just like a step too far for me.
No, as we have, and our listeners get very upset because we don't want to watch these, crusty, 20-year-olds like drink to their deaths. Like that's not fun. I like the older gals.
Yeah, I don't get what. I mean, I will watch any reality TV generally that you put my way, but for some reason that one just doesn't appeal to me.
We tried and it was tough.
The Guardian title is Scott Dunlap. You can hate the Real Housewives, but you can't ignore it.
Wow. Scott.
Go ahead.
Scott.
The word according to Scott.
I want to know what he looks like. Can we get some Google imagery on that?
Yeah, let's have a look.
I'd like to see. Did you like...
I Google image him as well. He does a lot of... he wears like a polo shirt and does a lot of posing in kind of reflective shades on golf courses.
Oh, I like it. I like him already. I'm going to say like 52. Yes. Receding hairline, a little bit of a punch, but he's very tan.
Totally.
Handsome man.
Yeah. I mean, Casey would find him handsome.
Yeah, handsome, swarthier man whose best years are behind him, but he can still get it. Can still get it in.
Yes. He's like a Dorinda, he's like a John the dry cleaner crossed with
this is him.
Mauricio.
Oh,
is it?
Interesting.
No. Totally different.
Is that him? I don't know.
Guys, Google Scott Dunlap. Very different than what I described. Full head of hair.
Is that him? It looks like
I
him.
bet it is. Wow. Not at all. He sort of looks like
some actor, right? Like
Tim Roth. Does anyone know who Tim Roth is?
Yes. British.
Yeah, British actor.
Like
he looks like an older
he looks like
Tim
a
Roth.
countryman.
Anyway, and he's with a woman in this picture that looks like Ramona, but is not. Yeah. So obviously he's got a thing for
women.
And
his
hair
hair looks like he's been galloping on a horse.
Yeah. He's got a full head of hair. Full head.
Windblown.
And I'm sad to find out he's not part of my tribe, the Jews. Like I just pictured it. And so anyway. I don't know. I wanted it to be so. I wanted him to be Jewish. I just felt like a Jew. But then Andy Cohen is, and he made it what it is. So
totally.
Of course.
Yeah.
We did it. We Jews did it. So shall we get into some housewives? I feel like we should start with some Dallas this week because Dallas is my new favorite, guys.
I lost my mind when Dallas came into my life.
Really?
Look, you guys brought me Housewives. But Dallas? Y'all didn't tell me about Dallas.
Well, we didn't know.
I know.
We knew last year it was kind of a dud, but this year it's really taken flight.
I just can't get over how much money there is over there.
There's a lot of money in Dallas, and I don't know what anyone does for a living in general. Like half the people in my family, I don't know what they do. Like my brother-in-law, I know he does something. I know there's a pen from his company. I could not tell you what
it's like Chandler
is.
Bing. It's like that episode of Friends where no one knows what Chandler Bing does.
Yeah,
it's like something
and I feel that
computers.
about every job. I don't know what anyone does. And that's why when I'm like, they have so much money. Do jobs really pay that much money? I'm so shocked.
I'm like, what is it that they do?
Like, I understand if you start a food line, like that, those are the things. Like, I even get how Deandra's mother started this company. I don't know what that company does. I went on her website today.
Oh.
Because I was like, it does need an update. And Deandra's not wrong about that.
I was like, yes, I was on her side.
Because she's like, we don't have a web presence, basically. And I went on and there is no web. It's like a really old, shoddy looking website. And I don't really know what the products do. And I know that there's also like in one fell swoop, there's like green drinks and vegetable drinks and like eye cream. It's like not a
it's weird.
Needs to be revamped. And so I couldn't agree more. But at least I get that. But like all the other people on the show, I'm like, I don't know. I can't get my head
the
around.
plastic surgery.
Yes.
Like,
that guy.
Yeah. Mark. The
which is such an interesting combo. Yeah. He's like this little Stanley Tucci. And then he's also this.
Can I say,
surgeon.
Don't take the name of Stanley Tucci and put it down on the gutter with Mark.
As I said it, I a little throw up came to because I was like, I shouldn't do that to Stanley.
Stanley is
He's a
gorgeous, complicated, beautiful man, and I am attracted to him. But Mark is disgusting.
Yeah.
When he was like yelling at his wife to tell the maid to not have the matching, to make sure the socks are matching. He's got an M and an S. I was like, and I know that in his mind, he thought, because it was for the camera, I felt that he felt like, oh, everybody's going to get on my side on this issue. And I just want to be like, no one, when you're yelling at your wife to yell at the maid to get your socks together right, no one's going to be on your side.
The thing that I feel about him, because he was doing this weird style maker contest in a store called Tootsie's, which is the best name ever, given that he is gay, but pretending not to be.
For just that store to be called Tootsie's, like, no.
And didn't they call it like the biggest like style thing or like one of these huge style contests?
And for it to be at a store named Tootsie's. We used to have a store in Boca Raton called like Daffy's and like that. And it was like discount wear. And like some of it might have been worn before. A lot of it was for an older crowd. And that's what that store is to me.
Yeah.
And then at one point, a listener pointed this out to me. And she showed me a picture, which was like when Mark is in the car. At one point, we really get to see like his basically his man bulge, like having like a wedgie,
which bulge?
like his ball bulge.
Oh no!
And like having like his camel toe.
Oh my God!
And then that's all I could see for like the rest of the episode with him.
The thing about him that I find curious is that he's so into dresses and he's so gay, and yet he's one of those men who tries to disguise that by claiming that every time he sees his wife in a dress he's picked out, he just wants to take her to bed. It's something like, oh, I'm not gay because I want to have sex with you. But you're like, no, it's not convincing.
It seems like you want to have sex with the fact that you dressed her well.
Yes.
That's what you're
You want to have
off
sex with the idea of yourself in that dress.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking is going on.
And also, but like, dress her better if that's what your thing is. She was wearing like a long short.
I don't enjoy any man for some reason that dresses his wife and enjoys it like a doll.
Yeah.
I find it controlling more than anything else. To me, I get a controlling vibe from him, one that is eerie and smacks of a man that doesn't feel powerful, and so he needs to like dress her like a little doll. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, you're my little pretty dolly.
No.
But that's the vibe I get. It's not that I would be mad if my husband bought me a really cute dress or something, but
that's different.
But it just, and he wouldn't be able to pick that out.
I mean, your husband isn't gay, so that's the main difference.
Right.
But even more than that, like, believe me, if God forbid my husband passed and I married a gay man, I probably would be thrilled because I think that we would get along really well. But to me, it's the control.
Yeah.
It's that sort of like I'm gonna make you pretty for me. Like, it's just so creepy. I'm sorry, guys.
No, but it's true. It's
also because he is a plastic surgeon, and it's like she's his greatest creation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
A bit like Heather Dubrow, like that whole like. And in the first season of Dallas, didn't she pose for website photos to promote Mark's plastic surgery?
We didn't
website?
watch. I didn't watch the whole first season of Dallas because I fell asleep. So I didn't watch.
But you would know.
You can take my word for it. I've done my research.
You are a journalist.
Yeah. And like just her side comments, like in the confessionals when she's like, I'm tired of like basically jerking him off, like giving him compliments and support. I was like, whoa, again with like, he's controlling her. It's all about him in a way. And it's weird.
And Switzerland is about him and Switzerland.
I can't hear about that guy.
But they squabble like siblings. It's so weird. But then they really are sexual about it. It's strange.
Now, what I'm really loving right now, who I'm really excited about is, and who I love this episode is Cameron. Yeah. And she gives me a lot of joy. And not in that Erica Jane way, where I'm like, admire her and want to be her a little bit. No, Cameron, it's like a sweet, sweet piece of candy that is terrible for me. But I'm loving every bit of it. It's like, she's fluff. Though I will say, every time she has a scene with her children, it feels like it's the first time she's ever interacted with them. Like, oh, they're just going back from school. Like, I don't believe that this is happening a lot. And she always seems shocked by what they're doing. And they seem like, Mom, what are you what are you doing here? That I enjoy. Yeah. You just enjoy like the discomfort. I'm getting a lot of chuckles from.
I will say, I feel like she either like needs to commit more to her lip injections, or it feels like a like half commitment. It feels like her mouth always to me is like when you had braces. And like that, it does like that weird thing where it kind of sticks out in a weird way.
I noticed too that her mouth has never in just the history of my relationship with her has never closed fully.
Yeah.
So I did. I was like, so it always, you're like, is she going to say something more? Is she breathing? Like,
right.
And that
it just seems like they only injected just under the nose.
Okay.
And I wish she would just commit to the whole thing.
What are your thoughts on Cameron?
Well, I like Cameron for two main reasons. One is that she's very tall, and I am a fairly tall gal, as you are, April. Yes,
yeah, both of you, gorgeous giants.
And I like the fact that she wears flats. You don't often see that on Housewives. The other reason I like her is because she's married to a man called Court, who is extremely short, and Court means short in French.
Oh, it does.
It's a literal translation. So I'm like, what a perfect name for that.
He was
diminutive gentleman.
He is living up to his name.
Thank God we have a fucking European here to tell us this shit.
We wouldn't. We're so trashy. We have no idea.
Never have
I'm
known.
like, oh, Court.
I will say that I wish there was more Cameron this episode. Like, I'm sorry, do not go away to Cabo or wherever you are when you're on a show unless you bring the goddamn cameras with you. Yeah. I don't need you to go away. I need you to be a part of this cast. So get it together. Like I was like, I needed more of her. I didn't like that she wasn't at the events. Get it, or Bravo, get a fucking camera to Cabo. I need to see, or bring someone else on that trip to Cabo. Because I want
to see how they interact.
Yes. And I want to see her in Cabo, and I want to see what she's buying, what she's doing.
Yeah, because I'm sure she's crazy there with all her stuff and her pink things and her son Cruz. They both have kids named Cruz. I think you guys maybe mentioned that last time, but Stephanie and her both have children named Cruz, spelled different.
So many ways you can spell Cruz. No, Stephanie in this episode met with a life coach who seemed to be a mess. Every life coach, I have also met with a life coach before, and I will say that my life coach was the most troubled person I had ever met.
You coached them?
Yeah.
No, it did feel like I still get emails from her to this day, and they feel like cries for help. Like and I feel like almost every life coach that I've encountered, including Stephanie's, has been unhinged, and you see it, like their hair is off, they always feel like dated, like they're never really helping the person, and I felt this about Stephanie's like life coach. Not that Stephanie can't use some help, but
I feel like you become a life coach if you are too lazy to do the work to become a professionally accredited therapist. You become a life coach because you think, I've had some really tough times and I've learned from them, and I can apply that. But the problem comes if you haven't actually learned from them and you're just like spewing out your tough times, like your life coach, Danielle.
That seems like Jamal from Kardashians.
Oh my God,
there.
Jamal.
Yeah.
But we all know how that ended.
Uncertain where he's at. Speaking of Stephanie, though, can we talk about that $82 million house that they tromped through? Like, no big deal.
With the pool in the middle?
What?
Oh, it was so strange. That house was so strange. And then
the realtor was so strange. She was like a dead woman walking.
Yes. And she kept saying, room.
Yeah.
Welcome to this room.
Yeah,
I grew up in Africa. Yeah. You're like, oh my God.
This is for the rich and the famous. Like, I was trying to track her accent too.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was for the rich. Like, it was kind of British, but kind of European. And then maybe something from Africa. I was like, this, she kept saying, and for the rich and the famous. Like,
yeah.
So,
you're like, that's your pitch?
She looks like a White Walker.
She does.
She really does. Oh, her and her room. Welcome to this room. It's giant. And you can look at this wallpaper. This wallpaper is at $100,000. I was like, what?
I would like to know more about her, though.
I know.
And I would like to have
Does she
her
come with the house?
I would like to, like if this house continues, like I wouldn't mind seeing like just her popping in.
Just her swimming in the pool.
Yeah,
like when they move in. Just
seems like she would just be sitting on that masturbation toilet that they had. My God.
Oh gosh.
What woman doesn't dream of that?
Yeah,
I don't personally.
Masturbate on the toilet. Every woman wants to take a hot dump and masturbate.
Steaming
and steamy.
Yeah. And then we were treated to, Stephanie and Brandy. I I don't know what's going on between them. I'm intrigued to find out. And then we have Leanne in the middle of it. And I love how she went and saw that therapist last week, and her therapist was like, or she said to her therapist, well, the new Leanne does this and the old Leanne does this. And her therapist was like, actually, I think the old Leanne's here.
I think we're still in there.
And then this week again, like they all meet at that dog place.
Oh my God.
Well, I love that, like, the two of you need to talk. And like, yeah, we're going to talk at the dog costume contest. It's like, yes, this is a quiet, important place. The two grown women should have a real sit down.
Yeah, well, and I was thinking, because earlier in the episode is when they were like, Stephanie or something was like, oh yeah, well, we got asked to judge this dog show 2 months ago, so I hope it goes okay. And in my head, I was like, oh, it's going to be like a best in show type dog contest. And then we get there and it's like 4 dogs at a park. I was like, one of you easily could have been like, I'll step out.
Yeah, one of you could be like, you know what?
I don't need to do this.
I didn't get the Evite, because that's how that invitation came.
That was like a dirt message.
Yeah.
I also think they made a bad decision with the winner, the dog that won.
You didn't like Where's Waldo?
It's the witch.
Yeah. Basic. Talk about a basic bitch with that witch outfit.
It should have been the elephant.
Yeah.
So cute.
Can you guys explain to me, as Americans,
Sure, happy to.
I'm already embarrassed.
what is a carny kid?
Well, happy to. Leanne grew up, I guess, on the carnival circuit. So her family probably were carnival performers. So it seems to me she had no like formal school. Not that she didn't. She went to like the school of life.
Yeah.
And like,
like a gypsy.
Like a circus. Yeah, okay.
And so those people are notoriously kind of like bending of the rules and a little trashy and a little, like there's a lot of meth use, I believe. To do that day in and day out, I think you have to to travel from town to town and probably not make a ton of money. And I think it's a tough life.
Understood. Okay.
And not a lot of rewards.
Yeah. So, I mean, she hardly mentions it, to be fair to her.
No. But like this episode itself felt like a little more of a filler episode, but I'm excited by the characters that we're encountering. And I'm excited that Leanne's first kind of like when the woman's like, well, we need to talk. And she's like, I just think, when Stephanie's like, I just think that, you're trying to get involved in my relationship and I don't think you're, like you have a good heart or whatever. And she's like, and Leanne takes it and she's like, look in the mirror, bitch.
I know. She's so rage forward.
She starts at such like, most people would say, well, I find that really rude. Like, that's not nice and that's not true. Like, most people would act like a human being.
Yeah.
And so for her not to was fun to watch.
What do you think of Leanne's boyfriend? Because he strikes me as like is it Mike in Orange County who's going out with Vicki?
Yes.
Like that kind of equivalent, like nice men.
Steve, you mean Steve.
I mean Steve.
Mike's her
so
son.
sorry.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. Take it back. Steve. Yeah, I just don't understand the relationship between Leanne and her policeman.
I think he is tired.
He's been ground
He has a
down
weapon.
to submission.
Yeah, he's lost his sight, I believe, in some way. Like he said, no, I think Leanne's beautiful.
Yes.
But I do believe he's lost his sight in some way, like his cornea's popped out or something crazy. And so he's tired. He's been on the force. He's dealt with crazy. Like he's just...
But I do think Leanne is like the type who's like so sweet and caring for the people she does care for, because she is like being super protective over Brandy, but then she's like a dog that suddenly snatches if you go near the owner. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
She's like so protective. So I feel like they must be nice in their time.
Last thing real quick I'll say, unless either of you have something to say about Dallas real quick, was just like, I love that we got like a little taste of Dee this week, Deandra's mother and like her multicolored dream coat. And that was, I love her. I love everything about her. I love that she's the same hairstyle for like 70 years.
Not aged a day.
No, she's a dream.
I guess her creams work.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So I don't know. Again, filler episode, but I'm still intrigued. Let's take a break and we'll come back with some Orange County. Okay, so we're back with OC. Guys, what's your take on OC right now? I'm curious.
I feel like OC is suffering a bit from this season of Game of Thrones ISIS. I've just made that up as a disease because I love Game of Thrones and I love Real Housewives, but I feel that in both instances we are waiting for the big thing to happen.
Yeah.
And the problem with OC is that it's been the same big thing, Vicki and Tamara, for what feels like 3,000 years.
Yeah.
And I don't want another episode of them saying of Shannon and Tamara saying how nervous they are that they might see Vicki. I want it actually to explode in front of our eyes like a terrible demolition.
Yeah, or like it's it's like fight or fuck or go home. You know what I mean? Like this build up to nothing, and we've seen it before. It's just like if this is all we have, then clear the decks and keep Shannon. Always keep Shannon. Yeah. Never lose Shannon. Always have Shannon. But clear the decks.
I feel like Tamara is done.
Tamara's
oh my
done.
gosh. Yeah.
Tamara's done. And
she just looks tired. Her storylines are tired.
Even
I love her, but I feel...
I don't love her.
Okay. I was just being nice.
It's a safe space. You can be honest.
Yes, this is a safe space. Guys, no tagging. That is one thing I would like to say. Also, just a little note to listeners. There has been some errant tagging. So, and I know people aren't meaning to, like, hey, I thought blank blank looked good last week in her dress when we've said she looked bad, or again, I know we all come from a place of love. We all with love. And with all due to you guys, thank you for being such great listeners. Please try and not tag if you can. Actually, definitely try and not tag.
Yeah.
So that's just a little word to the wise. But yes, no tagging on me saying that.
Don't use
about
that sign, baby.
Exactly. Just don't.
Do you know who I do quite like? And I feel this is going to be controversial, but I quite like Peggy. I find her it's almost like performance art.
Yeah.
Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
Danielle is looking at me,
Elizabeth,
and she's very disappointed.
Go to your room.
I need you to leave.
She's so, but don't you find her hilarious?
Okay, here's the thing. I am with you on that because
Thank you.
I think it's so funny how the other women do not catch her wind of humor in any
humor?
No, she is so
April,
I'm with you.
I feel like she's so dry. She's gone past the...
She's misunderstood.
Dry?
I feel like she's dry and she's foreign. And
She's
those
foreign.
two things together make it seem like...
she is foreign.
Because I think she's so fun putzing around in her kitchen, making her daughters.
Guys.
Yeah, so she's like,
berries.
yes, I'm having a hot flash because I'm old. So that was the worst accent I've ever done. But that's her taking the piss. That is her, joking with her kids.
No,
don't you
she was
think?
like, for me, it was just a bland. It reminds me of this one time I heard a guy on back of me in a plane. He was also,
wasn't in the car?
a German gentleman, but he was talking on his phone and he was like, no, I'm still, we had just landed and he goes, no, I'm still in the air, just joking. Like there was no.
yes. But I love that.
So funny because they think it,
But he's not.
He thinks it's so funny.
What's funny is the awkwardness of not leaving a breath.
An exact same tone of voice.
Yeah. Yes, here is my joke, just joking. Like, it was so even, like, yes, I'm having hot flash, I'm old. Like, there's...
like a robot.
Yeah.
A robotic thing.
And Casey pointed out her hair last week, and it was
It's wild. I don't know what we're doing with that hair.
I don't know if it's thick or if it's thin. Like, I don't know.
It's hard to, and like, are there extensions? Is it like, is it breakage and then like there's strings shoved up in there?
It's like split ends, but all the way up.
Yeah.
It's just,
Split roots. Split roots. All the way up, yes.
Now, I have a question or more of a comment. And when Lydia's husband, whatever his name is, gave her two cars for her 36th birthday, where are they getting? That's not Nobleman magazine money. Like that. Where is? In fact,
Speaking of Nobleman,
April, we care to.
Yeah, so Danielle texted me last night and was like, "Did Nobleman come in? Because we ordered it last week,
a week ago,
while we were talking about that
$24,
$24, and the only option is $5 expedited shipping. So like you don't have any other option. And it says expedited. So you're like, great, this is coming in 2 days.
3
Also, they're down in Orange County. It's like a hop skip up here.
Walk it over.
Yeah. It would be here faster. And then like there's like a little disclaimer because Danielle asked and I was like, no, it's not here yet. Let me look. And I like couldn't find any emails. So it's like, they don't email you until they're shipping it, I think, because there wasn't like a receipt email. And then I looked on the website and I was like, what's happening? And there's a tiny little disclaimer that's like, allow 2 to 3 weeks to receive. 2 to 3 weeks? Yeah, I was like, then you're out of season by then.
Yeah. And it's not like they're coming up with a new one weekly. It's like a book that comes out every 4 months.
Yeah.
And so for them to have the nerve to be like, we can't get it to you is shocking. And again, how are they making a profit? What is this company's marketing?
Have 2 cars.
Exactly. And if like we're one of 7 people who have ordered this magazine. If you can't get this shit to us, how are you getting 2 cars?
I mean, it sounds like so few people order it that it's print on demand. So that if they get an order, like, right, let's put the magazine together.
Yeah. Just a guy with a printing press.
Someone hand scribing it.
So weird.
Yeah, like painting the photograph.
They have to literally make a new magazine when everyone orders one. Yeah. It's so strange. But anyway, 2 cars on the 36th birthday. That money is not his, and he is spending her gorgeous Canadian father's money.
Lydia's father.
To get that. So it's not a gift. It's not a gift. You just gave her money.
She also didn't seem that excited. I was like,
yeah, because it was her money.
Miss Rainbows and Butterflies, I would be, I'm surprised she didn't take flight receiving 2 cars.
They have no chemistry, no sex appeal.
And no balls.
But
soon to be no balls.
But that is not what
you don't
a
think they have chemistry?
No, that's exactly that really annoys me as well. You don't cut someone's balls off for a vasectomy. You just like tie the tubes.
Yeah, there's like a little cut. And it can be reversed. You don't think they have chemistry?
No.
She has more chemistry with her weird brother.
She has more chemistry with her arms.
Yeah.
She should go out with her own arms.
Yeah.
Just like...
No, there's nothing there. So that was a weird scene to watch. I hate them. I'm not, again, another couple I'm just not interested in.
Talking of butterflies, you mentioned butterflies there. My favorite thing in this episode was when Vicki said to Lydia at the nobleman party,
yes.
I'm like you. I'm butterflies and happiness and business. I was like, first of all, those 3 things don't go together. Secondly, you are not like Lydia. You have no self-knowledge. You are not butterflies and happiness.
Yeah, and Lydia doesn't have a business. Let's just again, as we established today, this is not a real business. One of the toughest scenes to watch was when David Bador asked Shannon what she was making.
Oh, God.
And she said something. I'm making something low fat.
Oh, God.
I'm chicken with buttermilk. And David's face when she said the word buttermilk. Now, look, is buttermilk a fattening food? It sounds like it. But I believe her when she says it's not. Probably. I like a buttermilk chicken. But his disappointment, I don't care what it's made of. I don't care anything about that. She can eat what she wants, but the disappointment in his face and the doubt in his face and what lies beneath the words buttermilk for them.
Oh my God.
Is really hard to watch.
It's what that bag of chips means. That bag of chips he ate like as if Homer Simpson eats a sandwich where it's like one motion.
Those chips were the affair.
Those chips were he was like, baby, are you up? You up?
And Shannon's the buttermilk chicken.
Oh, Shannon.
And just like it's kind of sad in front of her teenage young daughters to be talking about calories. It's like not a great environment for girls to be I have to count calories. Also, I'm pretty sure the one had like a sandwich in her sweater because like the dog kept like, trying to get in her sweater. I was like, she's hoarding food too because she hates her mom's cooking.
I feel that she has taken the not eating as her storyline so seriously that now Shannon in every single scene has to talk about how much she wants to eat and where's the kitchen.
Like complaining at the nobleman party, like, I didn't think it was going to be this crazy. I didn't eat. I only got one tiny skewer. Like,
the editors have been particularly cruel.
They're getting her every move.
Everything she says about food, searching for food, picking at food. It's tough to watch. But then Shannon does herself no favors. And this came out of the blue. We have never heard this before, but Shannon's opening a restaurant?
Yeah, what?
A pizza restaurant.
Wait,
Well, it's
was it partnership with
it's
pizza?
Partnership with the Z Pizza guy.
Z Pizza. Famous Z Pizza guy.
Which it is good.
Have you had Z Pizza? I haven't.
It's in the valley.
I haven't had it.
It's right by you, babe.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna stop everything and
well, it's like a Subway. I don't know how good it is. It's like you get your pizza and you go down the line and pick what you want.
Again, I enjoy a Subway. Don't rag on Tucci or Subway. I'm in for both of them. But that was news to me. I didn't know that was happening, and I don't feel as if, like if this is like, let's just get off the food stuff, Shannon. Like, I feel for you. I hear you. It's tough to look in the mirror, whatever weight you are. It's tough to look in the mirror and not like what you see. I hear that. But it's getting really dark. And then we're driven to another even darker couple.
Oh.
Which is fucking
Kelly.
And what's his fucking
Mike?
Mike? Is that
I just think everyone's called Michael.
I
think
know.
it is, but
Michael. I feel like I'm going to stop saying Michael.
You think everyone's husband.
I know.
Michael. That's like we were calling everybody's husband Todd. But that relationship. God.
Well, it was upsetting to me during their little tiff at the restaurant because, like, he was saying something nice to her. Well, it's almost like Scott Disick and Kourtney Kardashian. I know we're not all. I know we're not all in that here, but when Scott would try, Kourtney would still cut him down, and it's like rather than appreciate when you have to like reward the good behavior, I think. And so I'm sure I compared it a little bit to that because he was saying like, yeah, you're really social and you really like to go out there and that's opposite of me and that's what I love about you. And she took it as a diss.
Yeah. I felt the diss in it.
Oh.
And I'm shocked because I'm not a Kelly lover.
Yeah.
But I felt that he was like, no, I love that about you. Like, that sort of like, he was knocking her down, but then like, no, I love that you're an asshole. I love that you're not afraid to be that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I heard. And then they were playing this really jaunty music during it, but to me, it felt tonally off because it felt like a really creepy conversation. And this is a marriage that is at the end
over. Well, and also the other thing that that Kelly was saying about the age difference and how when they first got together, I was 28 and he was whatever he was, and it didn't make that much difference. But now he's like hurtling towards 60, and I was like, I don't think he looks that bad, and I don't think they look that different.
No.
Like,
I agree.
And I think she's got an unhealthy obsession with other people's age, because like with her mum as well, like trying to pension her off to this
also
weird old people's
her husband
home.
and her mom are not that far off in age,
know,
so to be
maybe.
like, how uncomfortable to be like, my mom's, you should go to the old folks home with me. I was like, what?
Yes.
That's kind of mean. His name is Michael, by the way. You were right.
Thank you.
It's like a stopped clock.
See,
I'm always going to be right twice a day.
Well, you're a reporter. We should trust your sources. Yes. One other thing that I wanted to say about OC, there wasn't much this week unless you guys have something to comment on, but when Tamara and Eddie were having that conversation about her daughter Sydney, and he's like, do you think she left? Why do you think she left? And she's like, I don't know. I think it's maybe because I married you. And it's like, no, it's not, Tamara. She's told you. She said it out loud a lot of times in print. It's because you're on the show. And like, she's still guessing. She's still like, maybe it's you. Like, Eddie is a good thing in her life. Like, the fact that she's still trying to like figure it all out, I think. And
make it into like a family, like a hereditary problem. And that conversation with her mum where she was like, and your divorce really affected me, and making her mum feel really bad about it. I'm like, that kind of thing isn't inherited, I don't think. I mean, it's not inherited to like want to go on Real Housewives of OC.
No.
And if it is, that's a terrible genetic deficiency.
Yeah. But yeah, OC, I don't know. I think you're right. I think everyone agrees.
It's like we need the action and stop talking about it.
We're watching these people in death's grasp, and it feels time to move forward with a new cast.
Yeah.
New York this week.
Ooh.
It was fine.
Cool.
It was there. I'm looking forward to the last part, but like, feels like the best of New York came and went. And I don't know that it needed to be a 3-part reunion.
No. It absolutely did.
Like it could have been, I know we're used to 3 parts before, and Atlanta had 4 parts worth every part. But I don't know. I just feel like we could have gotten away with 2. I don't know that we said anything this week except for Bethany still not really revealing what happened between her and Jason.
Yeah.
So, you know, there was not much that happened.
There was no cellophane wrapped bunny moment, which I think we all lust after in every single reunion show.
Right. Yeah, like sometimes you get a moment like that and that's all you want.
And I think it's partly because Ramona hardly spoke in this reunion show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Bethany wouldn't let her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a great moment where they were like, what do you... Luann, what do you and Tom have in common? And we all know now that they're
How
divorcing.
does this work?
And she was like, well, we love each other. He loves me. And then someone else is like, you play tennis.
Yeah, like fishing
like
for
trying
thoughts.
to give her something, anything.
And then there was like that quote Bethany said about lifestyle, like...
You can make a life out of a lifestyle, but not a lifestyle out of a life, or something like that.
Yeah, some quote that's attributed
she thought
to
was
Bethany.
Brilliant, and I was like, I don't know if it makes sense.
But so that was interesting. But that to me was just a fun moment.
Yeah.
One of the things that I enjoyed about Bethany's emotional breakdown, if I can say that without sounding completely heartless, was that even in the midst of the torment that she was talking about, even with the ravages of tears streaming down her face, she still mentioned Skinny Girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes,
And
you've
that's
got the
what
plug
they
in.
need over at that company on Dallas, Deandra's and Dee's
Yes.
company. They need some like Skinny Girl snowboard for their weird eye cream.
Yeah.
Like, let's get it going.
Speaking of Bethany, like jabbing about calling it a penthouse versus like an apartment.
Well, because she's got an apartment that's like 300 kilometers
But that
squared.
is such a Luann thing where she's like, I'm in Palm Beach. It's like, no, you know, like she is going like, we go to the penthouse. It's like, it's the top apartment. Like when I picture a penthouse, like I don't, Bethany's not wrong. Like I still love Luann, so it's like fine. It's part of her personality, but it is. It's
it's unnecessarily aggressive, but
yes. Oh, it's totally aggressive. Not even.
I mean, obviously, Luann's living in a dream world, pretending these things are what they are, and they're not.
And then after everyone's like coming down on her and Tom and like saying how like he's cheating on you and everybody's yelling, and then Andy goes, but the great thing is that everybody here is happy for you finally. Yeah. Like, what?
And he's like, and then he was like, and I'm ready to move on from this. Like,
Yeah.
Andy was like ready to sidestep, like, okay. Can't hear more about Tom.
Who do you think will get custody of Tom's cookies, that Tom's cookies jar?
I think it's broken in pieces in a garbage can.
It can never be put back together.
She threw it at him.
Yeah.
Missy has it.
And then like we got into Tinsley. Oh, I love that one where she's like, I didn't come here to reinvent myself. I came here to get my life back. And it's like, and you can tell that's exactly like, never has a more honest thing been said. Like she wants to get her life back from 2007.
Right.
Like she wants to be Tinsley Mortimer 2007 again.
Yeah.
Like that's the dream, not to get a life, get her life, get a grow and change and become something and make something. No, she wants Tinsley's life back.
Yeah, that's so. And I just thought there came like quite a dark moment when Andy was asking them all about their holiday drinking. And there was a moment when I think it was Dorinda had picked up Tinsley's coffee cup and tasted vodka. And then Andy was like, were you drinking vodka at breakfast time at 8 a.m? And Tinsley was like, were we up at 8 a.m? I mean, I guess if we were up, the implication being, yeah, we were drinking vodka at 8 a.m. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that.
And also just like, I mean, were we up at 8? Like it just kind of felt like a deflection too.
Yeah,
like that's the thing she was trying to find truth in. She's like, no, we were up at 10 drinking vodka. It's like, what?
But that makes sense with her looks of like what you said about her just picking up where she wants to leave off. It's like such a defense mechanism, I'm sure, from all this trauma she's experienced.
But part of what I genuinely love about Housewives, and part of why I think it's amazing research for someone like me who's a writer and writes books, is because you get all these like complicated women talking quite honestly a lot of the time about a degree of dysfunction in their lives. And I just don't think you would see that. You wouldn't see that on a drama, like a woman admitting to drinking vodka at 8 a.m. and sort of being okay with it. There would always be some like
no shame in it. There's not shame involved. Like Shannon talking about her weight so much, which is getting annoying, but like at least you don't hear someone just like talking about a very real issue.
Well, that's what I think we do love about this women is they are living out loud. Mm-hmm. Like they, and maybe some shame should come into play, but like
they need some shame.
I love that like these women live their lives and they judge themselves, but they also just keep moving forward, and towards the bad behavior or towards the dysfunction and not away from it, which I enjoy. That's their sun. That's their true north is that dysfunction.
Yeah. No humiliation.
And then, again, there was not much this week in New York. We got to hear more about Rocco and Frenchie and the revelation that maybe Frenchie is an actor. Like, her relationship with Frenchie doesn't feel real to me either. Like, even if she is sleeping with him, it doesn't feel like any sort of real thing. It does feel a little put on for the camera. And I sort of am like...
It's so weird. I can't get a handle on it. And also the other revelation is that he's 37.
That's shocking. I thought he was like 28 or something.
So much younger.
I know. And he's always like, I'm washing your underwear. Like, I don't know what.
Weird. But then she says all this stuff about Frenchie and liking him there and liking this and that. But then she like talked about who she would marry and it's Rocco. And it's like, well, why don't you?
Well, because she wouldn't marry Frenchie because he wants to have children and she's worried about whether the whole thing just smacked of falsity for me. And like, I feel like Sonia's changed her look according to the fact that she's going out with a Frenchman. So she's like, look at my red lip and my slightly disheveled hair. And it's just
that
really
just
annoying.
Might be, there's no hot water in the apartment and she can't wash her hair, which is very French, but also just very Sonia. And then Bethany shutting down Ramona when Ramona's like, can I say one thing? And Bethany's like, Ramona, I don't want to hear from you. I like that moment.
That was good. And then you saw Ramona's lip kind of quiver and her eyes do that mad blinky thing. And then she was quiet.
Yeah.
Because she'd basically accused Bethany of being a porn star.
Right.
In the previous seasons.
And that's another thing these women all do too, is like they keep saying like, this happened to us. Like all of them feel like drinking the bad things in their life happened to them as opposed to being an active participant in them.
That's such a good point.
And there's a car revving up, guys. We're going to take you on this journey. Come with us. Sorry if everyone's hearing that. But yeah, again, not much going on this week. Yeah, but
they touched on the election again.
Yeah, which was, again, hard to watch. But Tinsley saying, first of all, of course, them not saying it means they voted for Trump. And then Tinsley being like, voting's not my thing.
How can it not be your thing? Women died so that you could vote. Like, it cannot not be your thing as a woman.
Shut your tiny little mouth hole, Tinsley. Yeah. It's your teeny, tiny, itsy bitsy mouth.
Right.
Shut it.
Yeah.
But guys, not much this week. We got some Dallas, but again, a filler week. Mm-hmm. But I'm so glad that we have you guys here. April, been a treat to have you. Have you
guys? Don't be mean to me in the comments.
No, they will be. You have to turn them off. No, everyone's usually very nice. Every once in a while, a rogue one slips through, but everyone's super nice. And Elizabeth, I'm so excited you came here. You came to us from a friend of the podcast, Amy, and we're so excited to have you here. And I just want to talk a little bit about your book. Do you want to just give us a little thing? It's so funny. I've just started it and it's so interesting and I'm really excited to get through the rest of it.
Thank you so much. It's called The Party. It's like a psychological thriller. It's like a cross between Downton Abbey and The Talented Mr. Ripley is how I'm going to pitch it. It's about posh English people behaving badly and a man who becomes obsessed with his male best friend.
Oh, ladies of London. I love it. Elizabeth Day, a treat to have you in your gorgeous Urban Outfitters.
Thank you.
Making us feel like we're in the holiday movie or in Love Actually.
That's literally been my life goal. And this has been, I just think, the best moment of my adult life. So thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Yes, Casey wishes she could be here.
Yes. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Guys.
Hello.
We have a special Bitch Sesh announcement.
It's still April.
It's still April. And Danielle, we have a special Bitch Sesh announcement, and that is that our dear friend Casey Rose Wilson Casp, has given birth to a little baby boy. While we were recording the podcast, you guys, this is so exciting.
She was at work. She was working her body, and then it made a baby come out. Yes. And listen, we are so excited because
someone to deliver that news and help tell us how the situation is podcast favorite. The favorite podcast guest, one of them, a legend in his own time, writer of the wonderful script known as Monster Daughter. Ooh. Please welcome Paul Wilson.
Hey, hello, bitch Sesh. How are you?
How are you feeling, Grandpa Wilson?
I'm just ecstatic. I came from San Francisco where my son and daughter-in-law just had a baby girl.
Oh, no.
And then we get the news that Casey is going into labor today.
A real father of the bride
situation. So I jump
situation.
on an airplane and fly down. And the baby is a month early, but perfectly fine. And you would love this because Casey is there and they go, okay, push 3 times and this baby's coming out. And she goes, wait, bring me my makeup bag.
No.
So
that doesn't surprise me.
Put some makeup on so that she would be ready.
If I had not had a C-section and been disgusting and horrible and been in an emergency situation, I would have had my makeup bag right at hand.
Yeah. Well, and so when I saw her, she looked fabulous.
Gorgeous.
Even though they had both, David, her husband, and Casey had been up all night. Mm-hmm. They induced labor at 3:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And so it finally happened at about dinner time and dashed over there to Cedars-Sinai and saw the baby.
So fast. I mean,
Yes.
Casey was texting Danielle and I like lickety split, like no big deal. Like, oh yeah, hey, say this.
Like notes on the podcast.
Yeah, like
or not even notes, but just like
casual thoughts.
That's what good drugs do.
I know.
And they have them.
I've had them.
Yes.
And they're terrific.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why people are addicted to meth and like crack cocaine. They should be addicted to, your whatchamacallit, epidural, because
Right.
that's a great drug.
Right. The nurse who was there at 3:30 in the morning was there when I left, and she got congratulations from Casey for talking her into the epidural.
Oh, yeah.
So she was
I'm sure it was
happy.
pretty easy.
Yeah.
Casey,
Doesn't say no
That's
to
right.
a drug.
I was like, I literally was 1 centimeter dilated, and I was like, can I have it now?
Yeah.
Yes.
They hurt. It's like,
So it was great, and the baby's name is Henry.
Sweet little
Henry
boy.
Cass.
Oh, congratulations, Casey. We love you.
We're so excited.
We're so excited for you.
I
and
hope
for
this
you,
brings you
Paul.
many gifts.
Yeah. And so I have now 2 pictures taken days apart of the threesomes of both families kind of, together. And I'll send
cousins,
out some.
new
Yes, they are.
cousins.
They're new cousins.
Oh my gosh. And you look great for a guy who's been there all day. And
Little Steve Martin over here.
Yes. Well, and we had great fun with my son's daughter. She is just barely able to do anything. And we propped her up, put her in the dress, and then, sent it out as a text and teased all the family because they've all had boys. And like, we've got the only girl. Our taunt.
now, let me ask you this. You are Casey's father.
Yes.
And you are the children's grandfather. But what our guests know you as is as Paul Wilson from Bitch Sesh. How do you feel about your reputation? Like just now we had our guest Elizabeth. She was like, you're Paul Wilson. Like, how does this you've done so many things in your life. Like you're important in DC and have worked with the government. Like you do a lot of big things that people are impressed by. But this seems to have really caught on.
Well, it has. And we did the Bitch Sesh in Washington, D.C., as many of your listeners know. And of course, the greatest accomplishment of all was all of your 22-year-old fans coming up saying, let's go get beers at Murphy's sometime, Mr. Wilson.
And
they haven't called.
But
Did
you give them your business card?
Of course. And no call. No call.
Oh, no one's called that business card?
No.
Come on, guys.
They were taking me for a ride. Yeah.
Wow. But you do have some sort of, there has been acknowledgement of you and you have gotten some new fans.
New fans, and I had no idea that it would happen like that. I was just stunned how popular this little show is and how devoted.
And you.
Well, yes, but you all have made it something really great. So I thank you for that, and we'll see if they'll ever show up at Murphy's.
Are you just sitting at the bar at Murphy's waiting?
Every night. I'm at the end. Who's that old guy?
Fan? Are you
What's
the
he
fan?
doing? Yeah.
Now, one more question for you real quick. You wrote Monster Daughter and performed Monster Daughter, and it was fantastic.
Gorgeous.
And we've had a lot of, I don't know if you've heard on Twitter, I'm not sure if you're tweeting anymore or just
Pocket
actually
tweeting.
texting at this point.
I've missed some of these texts.
There have been a lot of great tweets about Monster Daughter. Any plans to go back to the page?
I think we should. I think we should write an original Monster Daughter story for this show.
Okay. Well, I would like to commission that from you.
Yes, around Thanksgiving, I'll be back and we'll record it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
Yes.
Paul, I'm so excited.
Because she is such a monster daughter.
Yeah. She's going to be a monster mommy, too. Paul, we're so excited to have you. Congratulations on all your new grandchildren and on being there with Casey. Any last thoughts you want to leave us with about the birth or you or being Casey's dad? Or
Well, I would just say it's always fun. And to be around Casey and David Casp and you all, it's just, we're joking with the nurse. Mm-hmm. You just have a lot of fun in life. And that's the real joy of it.
Oh, that's
really
nice.
sweet.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming on.
All right. Bye.
Hey everybody, I'm Brandon Johnson.
And I'm Robert Evans.
And we are the hosts of Cracked Gets Personal, which is a show where we talk to a wide variety of people about a wide variety of topics.
We're talking garbage men.
Outside of the dumpster, it was a suitcase, and inside the suitcase was 24 porn DVDs. And there's a couple beer cans also in. And I'm like, that guy must have had a good night.
Former human slaves.
He made money off of me from turning tricks. He made money off of me from the pornography. But, I had to sign the contract because if I didn't, he would beat me.
The whole gamut of human experiences. We have juiced it like a delicious orange and mixed it with the tequila of comedy in order to make a tequila sunrise of knowledge and laughter.
Make sure to be around on August 16th because that's when the first 2 episodes are going to drop. And please click and subscribe.
This has been an Earwolf production, executive produced by Scott Aukerman, Chris Bannon, and Colin Anderson. For more information and content, visit earwolf.com.